Welcome to ProServe 2012 training videos. In this video, I'm going to talk about the territory file, setting up a salesman file, setting up your sales tax file, and setting up your zip code file, and how all that relates to the service accounts. So I'm going to go to System, go to Lookup Tables, look at Departmental. There's my territory and salesman in that menu option. Let's take a look at territory first. So I'm going to double click this guy. I'm going to double click one of these to get in edit mode for this. Now there's two things basically here that I'm doing. I'm giving it a description of where this territory is, and I'm also assigning this territory to a salesman. I can turn this particular territory off so that it doesn't show up in my system without deleting it. I can modify the description, make it whatever I want to use, and move on and just add anything else I need. So you can use these four. They're here. They're there in your system for you to be able to use them. Just modify the descriptions and add what you need. If I look at the salesman, basically it's just really quite simple. I mean, I'm just setting up a salesman's name and same thing. I'm either going to leave it active or I'm going to inactivate it so it won't show up in my system. Okay? So what I'm doing is setting up a territory. I'm able to assign a salesman to each territory. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't assign more than one that doesn't mean that I can't assign, this guy's assigned to, or I'm assigned salesman 001 to this territory. Well, that doesn't mean that I can't assign him again. I could assign, instead of two, I could assign that salesman to this territory. So I mean, that part of it, you can do whatever you want to do. So a salesman may be assigned to all four of them, and then maybe you pick up a new salesman later on, and then you can come in here and say, well, I'm going to give him this territory, and then just simply change it. So that's how that's set up. That's my territory and salesman, and I'll show you in a second how that works in. So now let's take a look at, and I'm just going to cancel. I'm not going to save anything there. This time I'm going to take a look at the sales tax codes file. Now, the only reason that you would need to do this, first of all, do you have to collect sales tax? If so, do you have to collect sales tax for different cities and counties and states? If so, then this is how you do it. You just simply set up a code for this city, county, and state. Set up the rates, put it in as decimal. That's 2% right there. And just add as many as you need and do whatever you have to do to accomplish that. Otherwise, if you do have to pay sales tax, but it's basically just off of a single rate, then there's no reason to have to set up a sales tax code file necessarily, because you can actually just use the general default sales tax here, and that's what it will pick up. If a service account is not assigned to a sales tax code, then it will default to this sales tax rates from this warehouse screen. Now, let's look at one more, which is the county. And if I can find it, I think it may be under my miscellaneous. It is. Here's my county code, or miscellaneous codes is what it's really called. So I'm able to set up a county code if you need that kind of thing. And all of these different codes, basically, you're going to be able to set up or assign to a customer in their service account program or their service account screen. And I'll show you that in a second. I'm going to look at one more, and then we'll move into the service account file, and I'll show you how all this comes into play. And that's going to be my zip codes. Now, it's best in the system, I think, initially before you start adding your new customers, to go ahead and set up as many zip codes that you can to kind of get that done and out of the way so that you don't have to add zip codes when you're actually adding new customers. Now, as you can see, it's really quite simple. I mean, you're just going to enter a zip code. If it can't find it, it's going to allow you to add, and you just follow through. So I'm going to just double click and bring this guy up, and it's really this is just Gainesville, Florida, and it probably is not a good choice. Let me pull up this one here, and you can see how when I set up my zip code that I also can go ahead and assign a territory ID to this zip code and a sales tax ID, so that when I add a new customer and I enter the zip code, it will automatically populate these two items into that service account file, so that I don't really have to worry about, you know, what is their territory code and what is their sales tax code. Okay, so basically to add a new zip code, I mean, I just click add, and then it's simply just going to ask me for the zip code I want to add. And of course, I would have to enter something that doesn't already exist, you know, in my system. And then I can go ahead and do the city and then the state. And this local is really almost like if I was in Birmingham, Alabama. In Birmingham, there are localities. There's Homewood, Vestavia Hills, Mountain Brook, but it's still considered Birmingham. So this is where you could put that type of information actually in the locality here. Now you can or not. It doesn't matter. But what this will do is just kind of blow into that customer for you automatically. And you can also enter the county if you needed to. So that's enough on that. Let me show you a customer and show you how all that comes together. I'm just going to pull up anybody here. Let's do this. And look at their service. Now here's all these codes. There's the territory code here. There's the tax code here. So that's the tax code file. And here's the county code. Okay, St. Clair County. And that's how those work together in the system. So now, if I'm doing whatever I'm doing, I can report on all of these different type things. There's the territory that I can report on. There's the technician. There's the county code. And there's the sales tax code. And that's basically how all that comes in and works together. If it involves sales tax, I do have a sales tax ledger, which will basically allow you to enter a territory or a sales tax code or county. But normally you would just run it for the entire gauntlet of what was your returns and sales. And the program, I would say, maybe only paid in full. And then you can run that report, and it would just generate, and I probably won't find anything. Maybe I will. Well, good, I did. So what it's doing is just giving you your what was wholesale, non-taxable, what was taxable, the city, the county, the state, and these are totals. And if you'll look, it's subtotaling on that sales tax code. And so that's how you would handle paying your sales tax. Okay, that UKM is unknown. That means that these customers were not assigned to a sales tax code, so it can't interpret what code it would have been, but it totals it for you anyway. So that's how that works. And that pretty much concludes this video. And thanks for watching. And remember, if you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up on it. Thanks.